The Vikings is a popular topic in primary schools, and you can find several templates to make Viking longboats on the internet. I've drawn my own, and you can find the free template on my website. My boat has got a flat bottom, so it will sit on the table. Of course, the real Viking longboats had a keel. I recommend that you enlarge the A4 template onto A3. I've enlarged it onto A3 card here. It's a pity I don't have any brown A3 card, never mind. Before you cut it out, whenever I use a net, we've got dotted lines to fold. I always score the dotted lines with a blunt knife or a small screwdriver. It makes folding up much easier. Also, it's easier to do any colouring in now before it's cut up. I would certainly want to colour in the shields in bright colours, and perhaps colour in the boat brown. After you've cut out all the pieces, the next thing to do is to fold up the keel of the boat, and because I've scored all the lines, it should be fairly easy to fold. I've done this with year 5 and 6 classes. Probably year 4 would be able to do it as well. There we go. And you could stick it together with stick glue, or even with sticky tape. Because I've got one handy, I'm going to use a low melt glue gun. The keel is double-ended. It doesn't matter which way around it is. On the hull sides there are some small reference marks there, which will help you to align it with the keel, so that reference mark lines up at the end of the first long tab. So because it's low melt glue, I'm going to have to work quite quickly here. A zigzag line, and stick that first piece on. Goes without saying, these boats won't actually float. Well, they will float perhaps until the cardboard goes soggy and they sink. We're now going to form the this is the stern of the boat, so we can curl that round. So I'm going to put glue on those tabs there. It is so much easier with a glue gun. There we go. And the same at the bows of the boat. The Viking longboats were also called dragon boats. Many of them had a dragon's head on the prow of the boat. There we go. And now we'll do the same for the other side. Just realised something that I should have done before sticking the sides on is to punch out all of the holes. We've got 4 holes for shields and 4 holes for oars here. You could use a hole punch if you've got one, or you could use a sharp pencil and a piece of plasticine, or I'm going to use a sponge block. So that's going to be a lot more difficult because I should have done it before, but I think I can still do it. We'll just quickly punch out these 8 holes. Don't make the holes too big. And then the last 4. And then there's an extra hole in the hull on one side there, and that's for the rudder. We're going to have a stick going through there that's going to have the rudder on the end. Okay, so after that mistake I can go back on course now and fit the other side of the boat. I like to do the long tab first of all. Zigzag line, I've only got 5 seconds with a low melt glue gun. Again, use the reference marks to line it up. Doesn't matter if it's a little bit out. There we are. And those tabs along the prow of the boat, and stick them down, and then stick the two sides of the dragon's head together. There we go, being careful not to get glue on my fingers. It's the front of the boat done, and now the stern of the boat, the last set of tabs there, and that stern feature at the back, and stick that together. So we've now made a quick hull shape. So now we can fit the oars and the shields. The oars, you could use these shapes that are on the template, or alternatively you could use pieces of corex. You cut a strip of corex with the flutes running lengthwise. You could then push the 3mm dowel into the corex and make the oars. But I'm going to make them using these bits of card. These bits of dowel are approximately, they're about 13 centimetres long, and we're going to glue the blade of the oar onto the stick like that, and that can go through one of the holes. It doesn't really matter which one. I'll put it through that hole. I've made the hole just a little bit tight so that hopefully I won't even have to stick that in there. And then we repeat for all the others. I'll try and do this as quickly as possible. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, whoops, 4, 5, a little bit out on that one, 6, and the last one, 7, and then we need another piece of dowel for the rudder. The rudder has a longer blade than the others, and now we can push all the oars through every other hole. The shields are going to go in between like this. There we go, and then the other side. Perhaps the oars should be alternate. I think that would be better. I've just thought of that, to give the oarsman room to pull the oars. I wonder if that's prototypical. There we go. Now to fit the shields, once again we need to push out the cut the hole. You use a hole punch or sharp pencil. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we're going to fix these on with some paper fasteners. So let's push these through. bend over the legs of the paper fastener. I'm going to do this very quickly, make a neater job. There we go, and another one, it's coming together now, and the last one on this side. And then the shields on the starboard side. I think it's starboard. I'm never quite sure which is port and which is starboard. Through here. And there. And the last shield. And then we fit the rudder, which runs through this hole that we've made. So that's the rudder there. Might need to enlarge that hole a little bit. You can of course glue these oars in to make them more secure. And finally, for a mast, I'm just going to use some 4mm dowel. You could fix it inside with a lump of plasticine. I'm going to use an MDF wheel. And glue that wheel down near the centre of the longboat. Try and get it in the middle. There we are. And add a sail. Just going to make 2 holes in the sail. There and about there, looks about right, and fit the sail onto the mast like that. So got a nice looking Viking longboat there. We could do some more work. We could add perhaps pieces of string coming down here to hold the mast up. And of course it needs a crew of some Vikings. I grew up believing that all Vikings wore helmets with horns coming out. Apparently that wasn't so. Modern historians today think that Vikings never actually wore helmets with horns coming out. So I'm sure you can find some pictures of Vikings on the internet. So I hope you enjoy making your Viking longboats.